This year, the theme of the UN Women's Day is on gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. As the world is currently facing a climate crisis, which are affecting lives around the globe, bringing gender equality in this context represents one of the biggest challenges. In fact, women and girls are more vulnerable to climate change threats, and they are often more dependent on natural resources that are endangered by climate change. They often carry the burden to secure food, water, and energy for their household, as they represent 70% of the world's poor. They are often forced to migrate because of environmental disaster. According to the UNHCR, displacement due to climate change is the second reason of migration after violence and security-related issues. At the same time, women have an important role to play to mitigate the impact of climate change if they are given the chance. They are powerful and effective leaders and change makers. They are entrepreneurs in the field of green technology. They are mothers, hence they are responsible to educate their children about climate change. They are resourceful and creative when it comes to finding solutions to the daily climate-related challenges. They are also involved in sustainability initiatives around the world. According to UN Food and Agriculture Organization, if women had the same access to productive resources as men, they could increase yields on their farms by up to 30%, which could raise the total agricultural outputs in developing countries by up to 4%. Green entrepreneurship can not only find solutions to climate challenges, but it represents solutions for unemployment in the South-Mediterranean countries and particularly for women. This will also address the issue of the gender gap. FEMISE has produced a series of policy briefs in the context of the Next Society project to showcase successful startups. Among the 22 entrepreneurs that were surveyed, 8 were women entrepreneurs who have created their own startups in the field of biotechnology, green technology, marine technology, e-health, and e-education. According to these women, some of the major challenges that they face while establishing their business is related to their gender. This includes the perception about women and the culture and the difficulties to engage in networking and marketing activities, which in an environment that is still dominated by men. There is a need to provide women necessary tools to be able to make a difference to the societies. So let's hear the expert on what message they have on the occasion of Women's Day.
We're increasingly truly able to grasp the extent to which women and girls are affected by the climate change. The predominant reason for that is that climate change exacerbates the already existing gender inequalities. And we have numbers for that. A recent overview of 130 peer-reviewed studies shows that the health effects of climate change are predominantly borne by women and girls. We have UNDP data from 2019, which shows that women make up 8 out of 10 persons who had to flee their homes because of climate change-related events. Now, how could women's empowerment be helpful for successful climate change actions? We can look at it on 2 different levels. First of all, on a daily basis, we have women who make decisions as to what to grow, what to purchase, and what to cook for their families. And those seemingly trivial choices, they add up into billions of small decisions that taken together have huge environmental impact. On a bigger scale, women, when leaders of communities, make more sustainable decisions. We already have a growing body of research who shows that communities, cities, regions, and countries that have female leaders make more environmentally friendly and more sustainable choices. What we do need in order to ensure more equity in green job creation is, first of all, data. We need more data, we need better data, we need gender disaggregated data. We need to understand what are the obstacles, what is the potential, what are the possibilities. We need to realize better what skills are needed by employers in green jobs. We need to understand what are the worries, what are the potential obstacles that the employers see into employing more women. Only when we have this data, the policymakers will be able to make better decisions and decide what kind of interventions are needed to support job creation for women in the green economy.
Looking at women's participation in entrepreneurship, MENA has the highest gender gap in the world. 12% of adult women are entrepreneurs compared with 31% of adult men. According to a World Bank report, MENA hosts 18 of the 30 economies around the world that have 10 or more legal differences favoring men over women. The report measures legal gender differences in the areas of accessing institutions, using property, getting job, going to court, and building credits. Women own on average less than 8% of firms in the MENA economies. Even for Tunisia and Lebanon, where women's ownership is higher than in peer economies, they lag behind in terms of women in top management. Looking across, the MENA economies perform worse than any of the other economies. First, they are faced with many prejudices and stereotypes in several phases of developing their projects. Women project leaders are often underestimated and perceived as unable to manage successfully their projects, as they are considered emotional and fragile to withstand the constraints of working in the field, especially when it comes to technical or construction projects. Second, there is a misconception that women cannot be entrepreneurs as it is time-consuming job that can affect their families and represents a great challenge to balance their personal lives and duties. The third challenge relates to networking and creating a business network for women entrepreneurs, which is often difficult and is done in informal ways compared to a more professional and formal network in the case of men entrepreneurs. These challenges are in line with a regional trend where the feminization of occupations has not started yet, and the idea of gender segregation is the most prominent in these countries due to the low labor participation rates. Despite the fact that some occupations that require high educational attainment are found to witness an increase in females' employment share, they are still male dominant occupation anyway.